Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Laundromat Millionaire Show, sponsored by HM Company at DrainTroughs.com. Today we have an exciting interview to share with you. We have Pete Valconesi from Highmark and Laundry Lockers. If you weren't at the Clean Show recently and saw him there, Highmark has been around since 2001. You're probably familiar with their bulkheads and furniture that they do specifically for the laundry industry, but they've also added another product called Laundry Lockers. And in today's interview, we're going to be talking with Pete about his laundromat journey. If you didn't know, he was a laundromat owner as well. His journey into developing the Highmark line and his new endeavor into Laundry Lockers and how they might be able to add a new revenue stream to your laundromat.
Yeah, we were so intrigued by, I've known Pete for years, from afar, and we went over at the Clean Show and spent a good hour, Carla, and talked to them about the laundry lockers, and we were just really intrigued by them. So I could see a date and a time when we start to slowly integrate the laundry lockers into our pickup and delivery model. So we talk about that a little bit, how a lot of different people are using the laundry lockers to be successful, and even the tech that they've injected into the lockers, so they're not just functional cabinets, but there's actually a lot of technology. There's an app behind it and all these different things. So we think you're going to be pretty fascinated by it. I know it's kind of one of those things, Carla, where you think you know what I've heard of laundry lockers. Yeah, I know what they are. And then you go talk to their team for an hour at the booth and you learn 30 things that you didn't know. So much more to it. And even like the integrations with the different software companies and stuff like that. So we get into all that in this episode. It's really kind of 3 episodes in one because Pete is a laundromat owner many times over again. He talks about that journey with one of his stores that he acquired in Colorado. And then he has Highmark, which is a fixture in this industry, been around forever. And then he has this new laundry locker thing. And we get to talk about all 3. And if you've never met Pete, man, he's a good dude. He's a salt of the earth guy. One of the trailblazers in our industry in a lot of ways. So if you haven't met Pete or seen him at a conference or a Clean Show or something like that, I would recommend doing that. Great guy.
But before we get into the episode, it is approaching the end of the year, and we would like to spotlight the Laundromat Millionaire Insurance Program. Have you looked at your insurance policies lately? You should check them out and have a review done annually and make sure that they are up to snuff, because if you have something occur, will you be covered properly to get the replacement equipment that you need?
Yeah.
So definitely go online and check out the Laundromat Millionaire Insurance Program under our services tab, and you can get a free assessment of your current policies and a quote for new policies.
Yep. So let's get into this episode with Pete, and we hope you get a lot of value out of this.
What if we put these lockers in there, and then every time we would go there, there's 12 loads of laundry sitting there for us? We've developed an app that runs the locker. We kept the app simple. This is going to become just like ordering pizza.
So Pete, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you.
Well, thank you, Carla. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, we are honored, Pete. I've known of you for years and from afar, say hi, handshakes, things like that. But you're a legend in the industry, fellow laundromat owner that kind of is quiet, keeps to himself as far as I can tell. But man, you're doing some big things. And for those of you that don't know Pete, he is the owner and operator of Laundry Lockers. I'm sure you've heard of that company, and Highmark, which makes bulkheads and all kinds of different things for the industry, folding tables. If you've ever seen the pictures and images of our superstore, it is full of Highmark products, bulkheads and folding tables. And we have your higher end line. We were very excited when you came out with that super high quality stuff. Not cheap, but man, bulletproof.
Yeah.
Absolutely bulletproof products. So we're very, very grateful to have you on the show and share your story.
Well,
Well,
and
thank
for
you.
those of you out there listening who this is important to, all American made in Colorado, you build everything yourself there. Well, not you personally, but your team.
My team.
So yeah, so I've known about Highmark and your products forever, but my first time meeting you was actually at this past Clean Show, and I had no idea you were also a laundromat owner and that you had really grown up in this industry. So I'm excited to hear that. And actually, if that's where we can kind of start off with you, Pete, can you tell us a little bit about your backstory and how you got into the industry and how you started Highmark, and then we'll get into the laundry lockers after.
That sounds great. Well, again, I do appreciate you guys having me, and it was wonderful to meet you at the Clean Show as well. Yeah, my backstory, we kind of started in high school. My one of my best friends in high school's dad was a distributor. And so we would kind of do some installs and stuff for him on weekends
Mm-hmm.
for just, extra money. And it kind of stemmed from there. It could be a long story, but I'll keep it kind of modest. It's my buddy ended up becoming a distributor and I ended up getting into contracting. And so I was building a lot of the stores that he was selling.
Yeah.
And as a friend and a friendship that we had, we kind of moved into developing stores and then keeping them. So we would build a store and then typically he would sell it and we'd go to the next one and keep going. And we got to the point where we started keeping them and operating them ourselves, which worked out really well and was a lot of fun. So we kind of dove in pretty early to the ownership of the laundromats. And after that, it just kept steamrolling. So this was all out in California and I had, I believe 5 total that I actually owned in California, which I've sold now because I've moved to Colorado. But that story also then takes us to Colorado because my same buddy there, he ended up moving to Colorado and became a distributor in Denver.
Oh, wow.
So he kept calling me up saying, "Hey, I've got all these stores going on. Can you come out and build them for me?" And, you stereotype areas, right? And I kept saying, "I'm not coming to Colorado. It always snows out there."
Right. Yeah.
It's cold. Why do I want to leave California and go to Colorado?
Right.
And so he finally convinced me in a weak moment. I agreed and came out to Colorado and I says, "I'll give you 2 years and we'll build all the stores you have going. And then I'm heading back." So not to get too personal, but the day I was actually heading back, I met my now wife.
Oh, wow.
And let me
So
guess, she was from Colorado, right?
She's from Colorado. So needless to say, I never went back to California.
Yeah.
So here I am. So with my stay, I agreed to do some more stores for him. And this leads into the Highmark portion of our story. We were doing a store in Denver and he called me up one day and he said, "Hey, don't build the bulkheads on this store. I bought them." And I was shaking my head going, how do you buy a bulkhead? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a contractor. So my mentality is let's frame up walls. Let's put plumbing in there. Let's put electrical in there. Let's do all this work. Right. And you can't do that and open up a box and there's a bulkhead.
Right.
So I said, "Okay, what's the deal?" And he goes, "Well, they'll be shipping in next week, Tuesday afternoon. The truck will back up to the door and your bulkheads will be in the back of the truck." So that Tuesday comes along and I open up the door to the truck and I pull these things out and I put them into place. And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is a great idea," right? The benefits of it just fold over each other forever. It's like everything about this idea is beautiful.
Yeah.
The only thing that I had a problem with as a contractor was the product.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
I can do it better.
Okay. So first of all, I'm a male, so we're stubborn. Second of all, I'm Italian, so I'm super stubborn. And I looked at those things and I just went, I can do this so much better. And it was just a mind-blowing experience for me. That was the last store I built for my buddy. I said, "Sorry, I'm out of the construction business. I'm building bulkheads."
Wow.
And so
when was this roughly? What year was this?
So that would have been, probably 2000.
Okay. Highmark was a pretty established company when we got in the industry, which was 2010.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd already been around for 10 years. That makes sense.
Yeah, we've been around. Yeah. So we're 4 years in, 5 years in. And the whole thing started right in my 2-car garage.
Wow.
I was out there in the garage welding and wiring and hammering and doing what I had to do to make this contraption that I thought I could make better. And, it just rolled from there. I ended up doing some advertising and reaching out and people were susceptible to it, but they had their reservations and so we just kept hammering it and it slowly took hold and I got a pretty cool story. I had a customer in Texas that I was hammering on, and he's actually our best customer today. And I kept trying to convince him to buy our product, and he kept coming back to me and saying, "You haven't been in business long enough. I'm not buying your product." And I just kept on it, right? And finally he goes, "I'll tell you what, it was just after, I think, the first clean show we were at. He goes, if you're at the next clean show, I will buy your product. So we're in the back corner in Las Vegas. I got my camper out in the parking lot because I couldn't afford a hotel. My wife's in the camper. You can't cool it off because it's Vegas in July and it's 140 degrees.
Mhm.
She's pregnant. It's just her and I in the booth.
But you're there.
We're there. And again, we're in the back corner, where the lights were flickering and you don't know there's actually a booth back there. We're back there and we're standing in our booth and nobody's coming by because we're buried.
Mhm.
And here comes this tall guy walking up to the booth. And I back then you didn't have this kind of stuff. So I didn't know what he looked like.
Mhm.
It was all phone conversations. And he's got a pad in his hand and he walks up to the booth and he leans on the demo bulkhead we had. And he goes, Pete, I'm so-and-so and you made it. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, thanks. What's that mean? And he opens up the purchase order pad that he had, right? In triplicate, right? Press hard.
Mhm.
He goes, here's your first order. Here's your second order. Here's your third order. I need him in 2 weeks.
Wow.
I went, you'll have him in 2 weeks. Got back home and went to work.
Mhm.
Like I said earlier, that guy now is one of our top customers.
Whether you already have a laundromat or are looking to get into the laundry industry, everyone needs proper drainage. We use HM Company drain troughs. Their drain troughs were first created in 1991, and they have been the leading drain trough manufacturer ever since. They're made in the USA, and their drain troughs are fully customizable to meet your needs. That's why we've used them ever since entering the industry. They're easy to clean for our staff and plenty sturdy when we need to walk on them when servicing our washers. With the ability to span up to 25 feet, our troughs rarely need to be connected together, creating an easy installation. Want to slope your trough like we do? No problem. Just let the experts at HM Company know. For more information, go to their website at draintroughs.com. That is draintroughs.com. HM Company Drain Troughs. They've been leading the industry since 1991. Check them out today. Back when you started this, so I guess there were other companies making bulkheads because your friend was able to order one. Was it not as common? Were you kind of teaching the industry that this even existed? Were most people building their own bulkheads at this point?
Yeah, I think for the most part, most of the laundromat construction back in those days,
Mhm.
it was, you hired a contractor and he just did everything. There was no forethought that went into why am I building this bulkhead, right? Because there's 2 reasons you build a bulkhead, or 3 reasons you build a bulkhead. 1, to clean up the back and make it look nice.
Mhm.
2, you need something to house all the utilities,
Mhm.
right? And the third one, which no one takes into consideration, is that's your chase to get into the back of your machines to work on your equipment,
Mhm.
right? So it's actually a service center. We like to refer to it sometimes as a service center because that's what you have to do. And you get a contractor in there putting 2x4s up every 16 inches. And then the plumber comes in and puts his pipes wherever he wants. And the electrician puts his pipes wherever he wants. And pretty soon you need to change a belt and you need a
Mhm.
Sawzall, a jackhammer. Be screwed.
Yeah.
And you need to be this big so you can fit in between everything.
Yeah. Because that was still back in the day where everybody was obsessed with how do you get in the bulkheads because the ends are all built out of 2x4s and drywall. And they're like, you got to go in through the top, and I'm going,
Mhm.
whoa, wait a minute. There's only so many people that can go in through the top of a bulkhead. And
Yeah.
that's only if the utilities are not in the way,
Right.
Yeah.
So the whole design, as simple as it may seem, right?
Mhm.
Because it's a box, right? We build a better box.
Yep.
Is, hey, let's design this thing where you can utilize it in all these facets, all, the service part, the decorative part, the utilities are, in good spots. And so we kind of went with that idea and made it more accessible and easier to use and install and all the rest of the stuff that comes along with that.
So I'm not very knowledgeable on the laundromat layout and the equipment, and that's Dave's forte. I do the accounting, the bookkeeping, website stuff, that kind of thing. So I'm going to ask you a question that may be stupid, but
Well, as long as my answer may be stupid, then I'm cool. So.
So with a bulkhead, is every bulkhead completely customized? Like it's a custom design to every single laundromat? Like, or you can't just go on and say, I want it to be 20 feet long and service this many machines, but it's like custom designed and it has everything already in it just to hook up. Is that what it is? Is everything custom?
Everything's custom.
Okay.
So we don't cut a piece of steel or strip a piece of wire until that bulkhead is totally designed by our design team, and it's designed specific for that customer. Okay. Because every customer and every layout is different size equipment, different brands of equipment. People have different ideas of the look that they want. So when we get a distributor reaching out to us saying, hey, we need to quote this job, it'll take Shar 3 or 4 days to get all the answers she needs before we even draw it. And then we draw it up specific to that customer. And then once it's approved, we go to work on it.
Okay. So it's detailed based on the specific machine type, the machine size, where their hookups are, all that kind of stuff, the layout for the store, the everything.
Everything.
I mean, it really, not to make you feel silly, Carla, but I mean, it has to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's such a plethora of equipment out there, and every 60-pound washer is not the same size. Every 60-pound washer, the drain doesn't come in the same location of the machine.
So there's no rules for the machines, like the drain has to be in the bottom right corner, 10 inches above the floor.
Yeah.
There's no uniformity in our industry.
There's no uniformity in our industry.
Nobody cooperates. Nobody plays well with each other. They all do their own thing.
And then you got different heights of bases, and some people like them taller, some people like them shorter. Some people want the bulkhead to follow the contour of their equipment if it's stepping down, some don't, so we really try and get into the customer's head and say, what do you want? How do you want it to look? We know how to design this thing utility wise to make it work. Now, how do you want this thing to look? Right? Because you want it to look nice, but you don't want it to be the focus of the laundromat, right?
Yes.
All we're trying to do is hide utilities and get access to the equipment.
Yeah.
That's the part I like. Now, I do have a voice in our laundromats of picking out what the outside looks like.
The skin.
The skin of it. And I love how Highmark has so many different, finishes and looks. The aesthetic of it is really nice, and all the choices you have. So I can speak to that.
Wonderful.
Well,
wonderful.
And honestly, going back to something you said a minute ago, Pete, I think it's really important that obviously the functionality and the quality of the construction is, I think most people would agree, is most important. But man, in a modernized laundromat today, I mean, once again, we've been in the industry since 2010, so about 15 years. And I always say, I've literally lived through 3 different industries. I mean, the first 5 years I was in this industry was very different than the next 5, and even different than the last 5. And we have evolved tremendously. And so I would argue that in the most beautiful laundromats that are there today, which are being built every day, your bulkheads, rather than blending in, are becoming a focal point. And that aesthetic aspect of even not the bulkhead itself, but putting plants on them, right? Yeah. And putting TVs on them and different things like that. We are, as an industry, learning how to take a functional space that mechanically has to be really sound and make it a part of the aesthetics of the store, which is what Carla, that's where she comes in. Because I'm like, hey, all this works, make it pretty, right? Type of thing. And the fact that you guys have evolved with that, I think is really important. Maybe some people don't care about that, but I would argue most people should. I think that's the present and the future of our industry, is taking all those design concepts and details and taking it to another level. We always say when a customer walks in our store for the first time, we want them to take 3 steps, stop, and go, wow. That's our goal, right? And that's not going to happen because of the mechanics behind the washers.
They're not going to be impressed with our utility lines.
Yeah. They're going to be pretty upset. They're going to be pretty upset if they don't work. So that comes later. But we want them to be wowed by the aesthetics, and we want them to think to themselves, and most amazing operators do. They want the customer to be like, I've never seen anything like this, right? It's the granite countertops and the, amazing folding tables and all the, like I said, all the aesthetics. Even the branding in the store and the color schemes and all these different things that people are putting so much thought into.
Is your laundromat ready to become the neighborhood's #1 choice? Laundra Boost has proven strategies to help your business flourish.
I think we saw changes pretty quick before that 4-month range. I'm in that 4-month range now, and we're seeing changes left and right. I mean, pickup and delivery clients, drop-off clients, self-service clients, businesses up as a whole.
Literally, it was shocking to watch the numbers jump. I wish I could go back and I could begin to track these things, which I have done, to see what percentage growth we had, but it wasn't unusual to go up 30% per month.
At LaundroBoost, we specialize in fueling laundromat growth. Through targeted Google ads and powerful social media campaigns, we make your location stand out and attract loyal customers. Ready to level up your laundromat? Visit laundroboostmarketing.com and book a call with us for a free consultation.
So you started with the bulkheads, but Highmark is so much more than that now. So where did you transition to, the furniture and the folding tables and all of that? How did that come into play?
That we started kind of branching off into the furniture portion of what we do, because I actually had a lot of customers that were asking me to do it.
Mm-hmm. I would assume that, yeah.
Because they're going, okay, we get this thing from you, we get this bulkhead from you, and we love the quality. So the quality is there, and that's important, and us as a company, we also pride ourselves in just who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We answer the phone, we take care of problems, we help you, we're here for you, and we care. And so with my customers feeling that sense, they kept coming back to me going, hey, can you just do this? Can you just do that? And I'm going, well, you know what? That would be a great idea, because we're already doing it, right? We're already working with the metal. We're already working with the laminates. We're doing the same thing day in and day out. So why can't I offer them another product? So we actually moved into folding tables at that point. And it was just your basic. It was a laminate top with your standard legs, and woohoo, now we got folding tables, right? And to your point, Dave, as everything has evolved in our industry, right? I always like to reference this. Back in the day, you'd walk into a laundromat, it was this wide and however deep, right? Washers on one side, dryers on the other. There might have been a half of a plastic or wooden folding table down the middle, and there's no attendants. Okay. Now you walk into these stores, for yours, for example, right? People are wowed. They appreciate what you've done for them, what you provided for them. So we kept rolling with that idea and moved into the seating and came up with some nice seats, and then came up with some heavier duty stuff. Again, me being in the industry for a long time, I know what people do to laundromats, right? They want to take care of it because it's their community laundromat, but they're still a little rough.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, everything that we did and done and do today is, we say we overbuilt it. We admit to it. We overbuilt all of our products, and we do that on purpose because the industry is tough on our products. So moving into the seating, now we got the bar height seating and bar stools that go against the windows, the metal seating, which you guys know about that. Every industry has its challenges, and knowing the industry, I kind of knew the challenges we had. So we put everything into making sure our product will last. We guarantee our products for 10 years, right?
Oh, wow.
Made in the USA,
I didn't know
10-year guarantee. If you have a problem with our product, call us. Very important to me as well, right?
And we can attest to they last. And, folding tables, you talk about folding tables and furniture, but the folding tables are furniture because inevitably your customers are going to sit on them.
They are. It doesn't. You can be fully attended. You can have the best attendants in the world, and you're going to have to ask them not to sit on them. And that's why I'll speak for you a little bit of what I know, Pete. You have several different lines. You have kind of a good, better, best business model as far as the furniture. And I remember just recently, I want to say it was maybe 5 to 7 years ago. I might have that wrong. I was begging you all for I called it a luxury line, right? Like almost over the top line. I wanted something that would last the life cycle of the laundromat, right? Which full disclosure is not cheap, right? I mean, when you talk about bulletproof products and even the bulkheads and things like that, when I think back to how, we've acquired 5 laundromats in our journey, and all 5 of them were zombie mats, but man, every single one of them had a bulkhead. They had folding tables, they had seating units, and they were rough. And then when I talked to the owners that I'm acquiring it from, they weren't really even that old. And I'm like, I'm a long-term thinker. It's kind of my biggest strength and my biggest weakness. I always look at things through like a 10, 15, 20-year lens, if not longer. And it used to frustrate me. I'm like, man, I would take over a laundromat and, buy a bunch of folding tables, and 2 years later they're broken. And by the way, they weren't cheap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the manufacturer's fault. I mean, they were what they were. We bought what we bought. They were reasonably priced, and people abuse them. They sit on them, not thinking, I don't think they mean to break them, but they sit on them, not thinking that they'll break. And then they broke. And of course they don't pay for them. They just leave. Well,
Of
I was
course.
like, what I've always said in over the last, like, probably 8 to 10 years, once I learned the industry, is I wanted to build a store. You talk about your furniture being bulletproof. I wanted to build a store that was bulletproof.
Yeah.
And I always say, we don't allow people to sit on the folding tables, but I know they're going to. And until we catch them and ask them to stop, I want the folding tables to actually be able to support them. Right. And the same thing with the bulkheads, right? Our contractors have to get up there and work on the lights and work on overhead plumbing and things like that exist. And what do? They stand on the bulkhead. Right. And I'm like, okay, so how about we just build a bulkhead that's made to stand on? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Type
Pete
of
did.
thing. That's right.
Yeah. And
Yeah. So I'm very happy that you did that, because I know, you guys probably take a little bit of a punishment sometimes from people about how pricey and expensive your products are. But one, I didn't know you had a 10-year warranty. I've never heard of a warranty like that on products like yours. That's amazing in and of itself. Once again, we can attest to the quality because it's the reason that we buy it. If you buy one folding table for $700 and you have to replace it every 5 years, over 20 years, you bought 4 of them and you spent almost $3,000. If I
Yeah.
buy a $1,200 folding table that lasts 20 years and is bulletproof and has a 10-year warranty, who's paying more money? Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of common sense. So anyway, that's the world that I come from. That's how my brain works. But I know a lot of people look at the price and they get sticker shock.
So going back to your story, Pete. So you made Highmark. Obviously, how big is Highmark today? How many employees do you have?
We are up over 20 right now, and we are short.
Yes.
So we're actually building 2 new facilities this next year.
Oh, really?
So those will be going up here probably in the spring, and then we'll man them. One of my things, I put a lot of my personal feelings into what we do. And when I've got customers that have been with us for 20 years and they're begging us to shorten our lead times because they've got a customer that needs something right now and we're just backed up, we're at maximum capacity where we're at, and you kind of get stuck. It's like, well, we can't get anything more out the door because the door's only so big, right?
Yeah.
So we're building 2 new facilities so that we can get a lot more product out the door and shorten those lead times. And we're getting busier and acquiring more clients every day. So
Yeah.
it's a great thing.
It's a big leap from that little corner of the clean show and staying in an RV and working in your garage.
Yeah. It was crazy. We actually got to get a hotel this year at the clean show.
Woo!
Good for you.
You have arrived.
Oh man. There's somebody now.
We love it. Well, listen, that is amazing. And I'm fascinated. A lot of that story I knew, but a lot of I didn't know. So thank you for sharing that. I want to transition. So you own some laundromats in California. We told the story about how you ended up in Colorado. You've built Highmark into a pretty robust business out there, family, American owned and operated. But the truth is you have a laundromat story even in Colorado. And I would love to hear that, because I think people need to understand that a lot of where your expertise comes from for building high quality Highmark equipment, and even the laundry lockers, we'll get there in a minute, is actually being a contractor, which you touched on earlier, and being a laundromat owner. I think that's a very diverse skill set from like a knowledge base and understanding the things that are the idiosyncrasies of our industry. Can you tell us a little bit about that laundromat journey? And I know you said you bought what did you say, the worst of zombie mats or something like that?
Yeah. The zombie mats compared to the store that I bought are actually beautiful stores. Because this thing was rough. I mean, we walked in there. It was a freestanding building, and obviously we're in the laundry industry, right? So any laundry, anything that is offered up to you in the laundry world, you jump on it, right? And this thing needed help. And we walked in there, it was for sale. And the bottom of my shoes were a 1/2 inch submerged in water because there was a continuous leak from behind the bulkhead that came through the store. And people were stepping over that to get to these machines that I didn't want to touch the machines to put them in the dumpster to throw them away. They were so nasty. Right. So it was in an area where the community just really needed that service and they weren't getting it. The building was constantly getting spray painted, like tagged, gang spray paint type of stuff. It was constantly getting abused, beat up. So it was a challenge to mentally say, okay, I'm going to put something really nice right here. Will they take care of it? So we ended up going in. I bought it. We gutted the whole thing. I tore the outside off. I tore the inside out. Like I said, there's only studs and a roof standing, and we built a brand new store. After getting the store open, the customers would come in there, and there wasn't a day that went by where they didn't thank us. Just profusely. Thank you so much for bringing this to our community. And they ended up taking care of this place like it was in their own home. We never got tagged again. Everything was clean. There wasn't a cigarette butt in the parking lot. They would wipe machines down for us, and it was fully attended. So that makes you feel really good. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners who own laundromats can experience that same thing. It's just like, if you give somebody something nice when they don't have a lot of nice things in their lives, they really appreciate it. That in itself was success to me. And not to mention that the store was very successful as well. So which is good.
How big was the store? You said it was a standalone building?
It's a standalone building. It was about 2,500 square feet. So it wasn't huge, but we did it right. And we ended up starting wash, dry, fold out of there, drop off, pick up and delivery, everything that's going on in the world today. We started out of there. Everything just really went well for us in the store. And it blossomed from there.
How long did you do wash, dry, fold and pick up and delivery? Did you do that initially? And when did you, by the way, I don't think I asked this. When did you acquire that store? What date?
So that was 5 years ago. I bought it. We ran it for 3 years.
Okay.
And then I sold it.
Okay.
So like 2020 to 2023.
Yeah. But anyway, we started the pickup and delivery or the drop off right away, obviously, because we had it fully attended. And then we ended up moving into the pickup and delivery. And we kind of did that a little bit later. I think we were about 1.5 years in. So halfway through the lifespan of me owning it, we started the pickup and delivery out of there and moved forward with that. And we were really hammering away on that, trying to make it profitable for us, which it was. It works. And it was becoming profitable until one day.
Okay.
My wife was in a over 50 active living community, picking up one load of laundry. And as she was walking out the door, there was another guy coming in the door, saw what she was doing, asked her what she was doing. She told him. He goes, well, I didn't even know that existed. I want to do it. And I'm going, okay, there's 250, 300 apartments in this facility, right? So instead of my driver running back and forth to this facility 4 or 5 times a week, picking up 4 loads of laundry, what if we put these lockers in there and put a sign up saying we pick up your laundry Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then every time we would go there, there's 12 loads of laundry sitting there for us.
And you don't have to go to every door. It's all in one location.
It's all in one location. And that really is where the lockers came into play, where we started thinking, okay, you go to these facilities where you've got a high density of people that need this service. So, and now instead of waiting on them to call us, we present our product to them. And then they're walking out the door Monday morning with a cup of coffee and they're like, oh, wait a minute, I got to put my laundry in the locker.
Yes.
Right. So here we are. And then in our lockers, you can add to them. So depending on your space, you throw a few more towers in there. And now every time we go there, you could pick up the 20 loads of laundry to stop.
So this is obviously where your idea of the laundry lockers came from. And I want to get into exactly how they work. But before you made it a business where you're selling laundry lockers to other people, so did you make them for yourself and try them out at this facility? Is that how it started?
Yeah. So we jumped right into it. Again, like the bulkhead story, right? I'm like, wait, this is a good idea. We got to get on it. Yeah. So we jumped right into it. and created the lockers. About the time we got the lockers created, I was excited enough to the point where I wanted that to be my main focus.
Mhm.
And so we just jumped right into it. I ended up selling the laundromat because the locker idea excited me so much. I like to follow my passions, and that was a passion for me at that time.
Do you actually get the lockers into this facility before you left the laundromat and have it running for a while? Or did you pretty much like sell your laundromat and go into just selling the lockers?
I never did put them in that facility.
Okay.
We ended up, I had the idea, and then I ran with that.
You're like a typical entrepreneur. You had an idea while you're selling another business that was an idea a few years ago, and you got another idea coming. You got to get this one out of the way so you can do this one. See, Carla, I'm not crazy alone. There's
No.
others like me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Always a new idea.
Always a new idea. Yeah. Always a new idea.
Well, you saw an opportunity in the market for a need. You saw a need and you're like, wait a second, I can fix this need, just like with the bulkheads. I can fix this need. We have a location where a lot of people are going to need their laundry done. Yep. Let's make this a win-win situation for both them and us. An easy way for them to just put their laundry out and get it picked up. Easy for the laundromat that's doing it because they can pick up a lot of loads at one time. So it's a win-win, which is what every entrepreneur is looking for.
Would you like to make more money from your laundromat? Would you like those machines you're paying for to have more turns per day? Do you offer wash, dry, fold services or pick up and delivery laundry services? If not, would you like to? Whether you do or not, we have an amazing opportunity for you in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah, you've probably heard about it, guys, but it's our wash, dry, fold, pickup, and delivery workshop. And to answer your first question, yes, it is for drop-off laundry, wash, dry, fold, and pickup and delivery. So if you're doing any of those things, this workshop is going to help you tremendously. But the truth is, we were pretty so-so laundromat owners and so-so successful until we launched drop-off laundry and pickup and delivery. And being able to what I call optimize your laundromat to generate more profit and more revenue out of the existing facility, that's the key to taking your life from good to great, financially speaking, with laundromats. And that's what made us Laundromat Millionaires.
You don't have to just listen to us. Listen to what some of our past attendees have to say about our Wash, Dry, Fold, Pickup and Delivery workshop in Cincinnati, Ohio.
It was the best workshop I've attended in over 25 years. And what you guys have put together is nothing short of phenomenal. I think that you guys have put together both strategic and tactical systems that will make an individual who wants to own the laundromat profitable within months, not years.
Was the workshop worth the investment? Without a doubt, it was definitely worth the investment. So not only did we have two very packed days with Dave and Carla and their team, both in the classroom and touring the facilities, but we also came away with this extensive 100-page handbook. And then after the workshop was completed, I received a bunch of electronic performers and templates that we've been able to use since the workshop. Every day since the workshop, I've found myself referring back to either those electronic tools or the handbook that I received. So,
was it worth the investment? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I cannot say that enough. This was such a blessing, and I am so very grateful that Dave and Carla put this together and are sharing their knowledge and experience with others to have this to grow their business and to become more successful. Thank you, guys.
So are you interested? Go to laundromatmillionaire.com to learn more and see where you can register.
So let's talk about the laundry lockers. So you ended up selling your laundromat, going all in on the laundry lockers. I will add some video for those of us that are watching this on YouTube. If you're on a podcasting platform, you might want to switch over to YouTube for how these work. But can you explain to our audience that is just listening to it, how does the laundry locker system work? What's it look like? How does it function?
Okay. So a lot of reference that we make, because people can wrap their head around this, is it's similar to your Amazon lockers, meaning you can access that locker. As long as you can physically get to the locker, you can access that locker at any time because it is a smart locker. So the whole thing has a brain to it, right? We've developed an app that runs the locker. We kept the app simple. Basically, your customer or our customer can look at the app from anywhere in the world, really. They'll download the app and then they will pick a default service provider. So we did that so that, let's just say you're advertising for it, right? So you need to reap the benefits. If somebody 6 towns over has lockers, you don't want your customers getting on the app and seeing their stuff. So we've created it so that when they sign up for an account, you're the one that was advertising for the lockers. They choose you as their default service provider for that. And now you're the only one that pops up on the map. When they open their app up, your store is the only one they see. So if you have lockers,
So the app essentially becomes white labeled through your brand.
correct.
Okay.
So they can sit on their couch at home and they can look at the app and go, oh, okay, they've got lockers here, 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 and here. And then they can tap on the icon for the location and the box opens up and tells them how many lockers are there, address, hours, cost, whatever you want them to know. But the key ingredient to that box is it tells them how many lockers are available.
Mm-hmm. I was just getting ready to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that way they're sitting at home going, well, I'm not going down there. They're all full. Let's wait till they open up or let's pick a different location or whatever the case may be. So then they physically get down to the location. When they do that, they open up the app again. They hit start a load. They can type in any instructions they want or whatever they want you to know about the laundry. Once they hit start a load, an empty locker automatically opens. There's no handles. There's no codes. There's no nothing. It opens up. They put their laundry in. Once they shut that door, it sends a message right back to the owner of the lockers telling them whose clothes are in there, when they were dropped off, where they're located, everything about that order.
Mm-hmm.
And now, depending on their business model, when they pick up, they go down, they grab the laundry, they pull it out of the locker. Now the locker is available for somebody else. Bring it back to the store. The first thing they do is weigh it. They punch the weight into my profile. They picked up my laundry. They punched you got 60 pounds and I charge $2 a pound. You owe me $120. That pops up.
That bill them immediately then?
Instantly. As soon as we hit send on the computer, they get a text message on their phone saying that they owe you money. And there's a button on there that they can pay you, right? So they hit the pay now button. You're paid. Your screen back at your processing plant or your store immediately changes over to you've been paid. You can process the laundry. You process the laundry. You put it back. As soon as you shut the door again with their laundry in it, they're notified with a text message saying your laundry is done. Come pick it up. They get down there. They hit the open locker button. Their locker opens. They grab their laundry, shut the door, and you're ready for your next customer.
Awesome. I mean, it sounds very user-friendly. It sounds very similar to the Amazon lockers. My initial thought for it was, I know, I believe it was Tide did a thing in our Meijer stores for a while where they had the Tide lockers with the idea of people bringing their laundry to Meijer and, the Tide van would come and pick them all up and everything and do the laundry, and it flopped. So my thought is, if people are going to take their laundry somewhere to these lockers, why wouldn't they just take it to the laundromat as a wash, dry, fold service? So where do you see this being used differently? Where do you think these will be most valuable to your customers, and where have you been seeing them used most?
We've got a lot of people, every time we're on a meeting with people, they're giving us new ideas, right?
Sure.
So we're taking a lot of our ideas from them. What are your intentions? My first question when I talk to somebody is I go, well, why'd you call me? What is your idea for these things?
Yeah. What
And then
problem are we solving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your end goal? What's your idea? What do you want to do with these things, right? Placing these things in locations where people bump into them, right? It's like, okay, I was going here anyway. I'm going to the grocery store anyway, or I'm going to the coffee shop anyway. Oh, and this is in my way. I'll put my laundry in it. Okay. So I'll give you an example. We put them in a health club. Okay. And we've all heard in our industry, the key ingredient to our industry is giving people back time, right? High speed washers, drop off laundry. You're always trying to give these people back time. You ask somebody, how come they don't go to the gym? They tell you because they don't have time. Okay. So now we put these lockers in the gym. He put them right in front of the front door. Right when you walk in the door, you literally swipe your card to get into the gym and you have to walk around the lockers. So it's a conversation piece right in the beginning. What are those? Oh, they're laundry lockers. What's a laundry locker? You can drop your laundry off here. You can go work out and you can come back tomorrow to work out, pick your laundry up and it's clean. Oh my God. I didn't know that existed. So that's kind of the idea in the areas that we're thinking. So it's not, we started off thinking, okay, let's do these little satellite locker stores, right? But now you've got to drive your business, you got to drive your customer to those stores. And that's a challenge. It's a challenge just driving customers to our laundromats. Again, put them in places they're going to bump into them. So hospitals, busy people, doctors, nurses, first responders, all that kind of stuff. They've got other things on their mind than doing laundry. I got a customer right now that's trying to get them on 3 levels of a hospital. The nurses and the doctors come in, they drop their laundry off, go to work, pick their laundry up, and they're happy. So those are the kind of places that we feel our customers will be most successful. There's also opportunity for partially attended or unattended stores to put them in their stores. We have a lot of customers that do that. They put them in their stores and now they're not missing any drop-offs, or their customers can come after hours or late and pick up. So it's that convenience that people are getting excited about. And I think you referenced Tide trying to do this years ago. I don't think that our industry nor our world was ready for it then.
Yeah.
You look at what we're doing now. We're Uber Eats, we're DoorDash, we're ordering stuff off of Amazon. Your groceries are getting delivered. People are putting their focus somewhere else now instead of chores and shopping. And this just falls right into place with that. Contactless, someone's doing my chore that I didn't know. I didn't know that existed. People don't know. I would say, get on your phone and order me a pizza. I'll order you a pizza in a heartbeat. That's easy. We've been doing it for 50 years. I said, get on the phone and order me a laundry, do my laundry. What are you talking about? That doesn't exist. So we have to educate the world really on the fact that this service exists. And I think the more we move into the future of everything else that's going on, this is going to become just like ordering a pizza.
Well, and I think the one key difference there is that with ordering the pizza, Uber Eats, everything, that is door-to-door service. And with the laundry lockers, I think it could be kind of door-to-door service with your initial, that senior living center, if you could put the lockers in that, or big apartment complexes. But where I think the laundry lockers could be more valuable is, I know we have a lot of people that we work with doing pickup and delivery out of their laundromats, and they tell us, but I can't deliver it to their door. Because if you're in, New York City or whatever, either it's not safe to put it at their door, or they're behind, a locked door to get to their apartment or whatever. And it's up so many flights and all this kind of stuff. So I think it gives some of those people another option where they can't put their laundry, like, we're in Cincinnati. We're in the suburbs of Cincinnati. Most of our customers for pickup and delivery can just put their laundry out on their porch and it's completely safe. Or, they can put it on their back deck where maybe it's not seen by passersby and it's in our driver's app. It tells them where to find the laundry. So there's ways you can even hide it subtly, but it's pretty safe to put it wherever. But I know there's communities where it's not safe to just put your laundry out on your front porch. It will get taken or whatever. So I think the laundry lockers give people another option, especially if you can get into, what about, college dorms? I mean, college kids don't want to do their laundry. If you could get laundry lockers into that dorm facility, I think the key is going to be what you mentioned, where you're putting those lockers where they're going anyway.
Yes.
Where it's not too much of an inconvenience to take your laundry to that spot. I mean, we don't want to lug our laundry all around the city or whatever, but as long as it's on your way and it's not too much of an inconvenience to the location, like putting it right at the door of that fitness facility, as opposed to I'm carrying my laundry all the way back to the back corner of my gym. Everybody's watching me carry my laundry back there to get it in these laundry lockers, but making it easily accessible. And then I think the other key is going to be putting it places where it is where the people live, where maybe you can't get to their specific door, but you can get to their lobby.
Yeah.
That's what I see. And then, of course, we've had various friends in the industry that don't have fully attended laundromats that have looked to them as a solution for doing wash, dry, fold out of their laundromat when they're not attended, extending your hours. I think those are going to be the keys, what you said, making it as convenient as possible for them to get to those.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. And the one thing I always like to say is our product does not take away from the pickup and delivery business model, right?
No.
It's because it's in a different category, because
it adds to it.
It adds to it. Exactly.
Yeah.
It adds to it. Because you're still going to do pickup and delivery. And in these areas, like you said, where people feel safe dropping it off on their porch, that's great because that's a great service. The other places, the cities, the big cities, especially, right? That's huge. That is huge. You can't leave stuff laying around. You can't just hang it on the doorknob, So now we have this solution where you can access this thing. If you can physically touch it, you can physically get your laundry or drop off your laundry.
Well, and I want to, everything you guys have pointed out is 100% correct, but I want to pull attention to the technology because I actually think that's as big of a part of it. It's okay. I know that it's there. I'm going to put my laundry in it. That's all functional. I understand all that. But am I going up to it and doing a combination lock like the old days when we were in elementary school? That doesn't feel very modern. It doesn't feel very safe. Anyone could cut the lock off that. You mentioned that there's no handles on them. I'm guessing that's very strategically, meaning these are very hard to break into. And I can tell you guys, we went and spent an hour at the Clean Show at Pete's booth, and we were looking at the quality of these things is through the roof. But the thoughts in design of not having handles and the investment that you've made in the app and the white labeling it and all of that kind of stuff, I think that really takes something from functional, which is what you all have been talking about, to really making it more of a tech product. I think that is genius, honestly. I know one of the things we asked you at the Clean Show is if you were in the process or had considered integrating your tech, your app, your white labeling ability with some of the software providers. Do you want to address that or just where you see that going in the future? Because obviously anybody that's doing pickup and delivery and even drop off nowadays, most of us have one of the software companies out there, the point of sale systems. And I know when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking how amazing this is. The only thing that would be better is if it worked with Sense, because that's what we use, right? If it just flowed right into Sense, man, that would be even better.
Yeah. So we are in the middle of that right now. In fact, I had a meeting with Sense just yesterday.
Oh, wow. Cool.
We are working with Sense, Clean Cloud, Curbside, and a number of other ones integrating. We have customers that use our apps, side by side with what they're using now. But their concern is the same as your concern. Okay, now I have a whole nother program and I'm trying to teach a whole nother program. And I get that. I understand it. And we don't want to be the one that complicates your life, right? We want to be the one that simplifies your life. So we have dove in deep. By the end of the year, the goal for Sense is the end of the year. The goal for Clean Cloud is the first of the next year. And then the others are coming along with that. But we are in the middle of that. And that will be a seamless for you guys using these products. It is just going to be in addition. It's going to be an easy use and easy transition just to say, okay, I'm picking up at the door or I'm picking up at the lockers. Now, how that is going to look in its entirety is still between the designers, but it will be part of those programs and you'll be able to use it right inside that program. So you won't have to worry about two different apps and two different programs and two different prices and all that. So we are in the middle of that right now.
Yeah. I think that's just kind of another level to it. I think it's amazing that you've invested the way you have in the tech and the app so that if we're not using, another software provider, whatever, or if Carla mentioned, we're partially attended or even unattended, we can still offer a drop-off laundry service at some level. And we have the tech and we don't need to go buy a POS, et cetera, et cetera. This can be kind of a multifaceted approach to growing a pickup and delivery or even a drop-off laundry business. And you already have the tech to do that.
Yeah. That's true. You can go either way, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. It's like, okay, we all know we can't please everyone, right? But we are smart enough to know what our industry needs.
Yep.
And just as you said, if we've got somebody that just wants to deal with the lockers, they can deal with the lockers. If they got somebody that already has a system in place like you guys do, hey, we're moving right into that system.
Make that work.
It's going to add to it.
Yeah. Have you had, and don't mention the names, but have you had any of the software providers out there that weren't interested in having this conversation with you, or are they all pretty open to it?
Most of them have actually come to us.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Yeah, I would expect that. I'd be surprised if they didn't want to have that conversation.
Yeah. And some of them came in guns a-blazing. They were ready. They wanted it to happen yesterday.
Yeah, they probably already been hearing from some customers that they wish it were already done, type of thing. That's awesome. Well, man, what a journey you have taken, Pete. Man, once again, I've known of you and from afar for many, many years, but it has been great getting to know you, spending some time at your booth, talking to your team, and then them bringing you into it and learning tons. Because, like anything in life, you think you know what a company is and what the company stands for, and there's always more that meets the eyes. So this has been fantastic. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to come on the show and give value to our audience. Share your laundromat stories, your zombie mat story, and how that inspired a whole nother business for you. Man, that's cool stuff. As a fellow entrepreneur, I get excited about that. Carla's probably terrified right now that I'm going to have another idea when we hang up.
Last thing he needs. We don't need any more.
I don't know, Carla. Dave's texting me under the table saying he's got.
I got an idea. Pete.
I got to break y'all apart. So, Pete, for our audience out there that are interested in Highmark products and interested in laundry lockers, what should they do?
So obviously we are old school when it comes to answering the phone. So they are more than welcome to call and somebody will answer the phone. We can help them in any way we can. Highmark has their own website, highmarkmanufacturing.com. Laundry Lockers has their own website, laundry-lockers.com. You can get a lot of information on those. My social media staff is trying to ramp up a bunch of social media stuff for us right now. So we're kind of hoping that gets out there as well. That should give a lot of content to people that are trying to decide if they want to get into this or not. But really, we love sharing and talking. You can actually, the lockers, you can get on that website and hit schedule a demo. You'll probably get me and I will walk you through how the lockers work, and we can have conversations until we're blue in the face about, where we think you'll be profitable with them and how you can use them. So we're an open book. We're here just like the rest of the industry. We like to share, we like to help. So I want my customers to be successful, and we will do everything we can to support that.
Yeah, I know one of the things you talked about at the Clean Show is, look, if I sell you these lockers and they don't make you money, then you're going to be upset at me. But if I sell you these lockers and they make you a bunch of money, you're going to love me, right? Which is the epitome of any entrepreneur, right?
And then you buy more lockers because, like you said, yours are very modular, where you can add more lockers to it as the demand increases, and you have different size compartments and all kinds of stuff. They're really nice. They're very aesthetically nice too, like a lot of different finishes and everything.
Yeah, going up to them and touching them and opening them, and like I said, even the thought process of not having a handle on it, which that immediately caught my eye. I was like, that actually makes it harder to break into.
Yeah.
So things like, because I would think if I'm putting my laundry in here, I'm going to be worried somebody would break into this. Well, the owners of these lockers have thought about the process of making it difficult for them, making them secure. So anyway, it was fascinating. And I know you were at Waleed's event, the Laundry CEO event. You had a table there, and I know you'll probably be at other events. So, I mean, people can find you a lot of different ways at all the industry conferences and Clean Show and different vendor opportunities like that, too. So reach out to Pete, reach out to his team. Once again, American-made products and services by laundromat owners for laundromat owners. Those are the kind of companies that we love to support. So, Pete, we appreciate you coming on the show today.
Well, I really appreciate you guys having me. I've enjoyed the heck out of it. It's been great, fun conversation, and getting to know you guys has been amazing. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we appreciate it. All right, for everybody back home, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Give Pete and his team a call, whether you need bulkheads, whether you need folding tables, seating units, or you just want to talk shop. I know Pete, he's the kind of guy that probably would sit on the phone for an hour and just talk laundromats because he's a fellow laundromat nerd, right? But reach out to them and hopefully enjoyed this story and got a lot of value out of it. If anything me and Carla can do for you, reach out to us. But we will see you guys next time for another episode of the Laundromat Millionaire Show, sponsored by HM Company at DrainTroughs.com. Take care, everyone.